right, welcome to Season 2 of the Sporting Chance Podcast, your home for all things falconry and unconventional hunting techniques.
This podcast is brought to you by MountainStateFalconrySupply.com. Check out Heather McNeamer's store for your East Coast falconry goods.
And also, this podcast is brought to you by MidnightFalconry.com, the makers of the tightest braided equipment on the market.
Check out supporter of the show, Sean O'Neill's Kennel, Clover Creek Canine on Facebook. Your source for performance canines since 1983.
And let us not forget our boy, Seth Roy, at NorthMountainGoshawks.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast, visit SportingChancePod.com for all of your merch needs.
All right. Wow, Mojang. Welcome to the Sporting Chance.
I appreciate y'all for having me.
Of course, our pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you.
So for those of you out there listening that know Wild Mo, it's actually pronounced Jang, not Dang.
Yep. Just look at the D and pronounce it as a J, and then you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can you say it, Casey?
Wild Mojang.
Yep, there you
Wild
go.
Mojang. All right. Wild Mojang. Also, what's your good Christian name?
William. I go by many names. Call me Mo. Call me William. My middle name is Muhammad. That's where the Mo part comes from my name. So,
cool.
Everybody around my house calls me Mo for sure. But you guys call me Will, William, Wild Mo, whatever you want. So,
all right.
But you're a Christian?
yes, sir.
Okay. We're all saved.
You're A-OK in Casey's book, then.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Me, I thought you might be one of my Muslim brothers. Salam alaikum.
No, my dad is, but everybody on my mom's side is Christian. I grew up with my mom, so I'm Christian. I celebrate Christmas. I put up the tree every year. So
good for you.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord. That's it.
Yep.
Amen. Let's do falconry for Jesus.
That's right.
Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like
a plan to me.
All right, guys.
All right. Kick it off, Aaron. Let's go.
All right, Mo.
Yep.
You're a falconer.
Yep.
Tell us how you got into falconry.
All right. So, I grew up. I loved animals. I was never one of them kids. I love being outside. I love being outdoors. I used to catch little 5-line skinks and broadhead skinks in my grandma's garden. All that stuff. I used to get freaked out when their tail pops off. But yeah, I grew up catching butterflies. And as I got older, I used to beg my mom for pets. And I've had exotic reptiles. I've had leopard geckos, bearded dragons, savanna monitors, Nile monitors. Leaf-tailed geckos, a lot of different type of exotic reptiles. I had a sugar glider. I've had mink from Joseph Carter. Shout out Joseph Carter. But so long story short, I saw falconry on TV. I think it was a PBS documentary. When I was like 11 or 12, I believe. And I always thought it was cool because I knew people could train birds, but I never really thought much into it until I saw it on TV. And I always thought in my mind that's cool. So 2 years down the line, I was 13 or 14, I believe. My sister, she had a Girl Scout troop field trip to the Medieval Times. And at the Medieval Times where we were, there was a falconer flying a peregrine falcon around the stadium for audience to see for demonstration purposes. And I talked to her after the show, and she told me she was a falconer. I said, okay, cool, that's awesome. So looked up the regulations from Maryland, figured out you have to have a permit to do it. I was familiarized with all the regulations at a young age, so I said, okay, cool, I have to have a permit. But first, I wanted to get like an exotic species because I learned that you don't have to legally have a permit to own like an exotic non-migratory bird species that comes from different countries or continents. So I tried to get a common buzzard one time, Eurasian eagle owl, all the exotic species, but I figured it was more beneficial for me to just jump through the hoops and get the license. So that's what I did. So I met my sponsor when I was 17, I believe. And like I said, the way my state's DNR service falconry system will work, they had a whole list of sponsors on the website, the DNR website. And I called that list, made like 19 people. Everybody turned me down, met a couple people, some people too far away, some people weren't in the right capability of sponsoring anybody at that point in time. But I was about to give up, so I looked on the last name on the list, and luckily the guy there knew a guy that was closer to me, and he actually ended up becoming my sponsor. Shout out Kingston Creek. I actually met him on the way to a party. My mom was about to drop me off at like a high school party, and I was probably like 17. And he said, hey, man, I'm traveling for work. I'm going to be at the McDonald's like 15 minutes from your house. you have time for like 30 minutes on now, we can sit down and talk, and I can see if you're really interested in becoming a falconer. So I said, okay, cool. So my mom went back to the house. I already have my application printed out because I really want to get over with, find my sponsor, and jump all the hoops, get done fast as I can, right? So the first thing he asked me, name me 3 Bootios and 3 accipiters. So I named them Red Shoulder Hawk, Red Hawk, and Frusian's Hawk for Bootios. And I said Sharpshin Hawk, Cooper's Hawk, and Northern Goshawk for accipiters. So he's okay, cool. You know what you're talking about. You got some potential. So long story short, he signed my application that day. Scheduled my test with the DNR service. Took that test 3 times. First time I got a 70. Second time I got a 76. Third time I got 81. And back then, like I say, you have to wait 3 months to take it again if you failed the first time 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years ago, yeah. But now, luckily, you only have to wait 1 month. But long story short, it took me 9 months to pass that test. And maybe a month after that, they came and inspected my muse at the time. They passed me. And went from there. So yeah, that's basically how I actually got over the permit part of getting a permit. So
that would kill me to not pass the test. Have to wait 3 months.
Yeah, it did. I stuck with it though. My granddad, he actually the third time I was scheduled to take it, he quizzed me in the lobby of the building, like right before I went to the testing room and took the test. That helped me a lot. So
that's good.
Kingston, I know him from Facebook. He traps a lot of starlings. Yeah,
that's what everybody knows him for, trapping starlings. Every time we went to a falconer meet, all the falconers say, you gonna trap some starlings, Kingston, you gonna give me some starlings? Where starlings at? It was kind of like the starling plug a little bit. So yeah, I said, okay. Yeah, he was very popular with the trapping. So
I've talked to him about buying some, but it never seems to work out.
He's always busy. He's a translator, so that's how he makes his money. He helps Spanish immigrants get their green card for a living.
That's cool. Yeah, starlings during beach trapping season they're hard to come by. So if you can get somebody that can trap them and have them available, it's good to have. And by the way, I failed the falconry test the first time, and I had to take it again, and that was not fun.
Like I said, luckily it's all multiple choice and all 100 questions, multiple choice questions. So I know some states they got like 150, 175 questions, but luckily Maryland was only 100 questions.
Casey, you probably went home and were punching holes in your drywall, weren't you?
Yep.
Just jumped out of my mom's van on the side of the highway and took off into the woods in a rage. Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah.
Black people seem to handle stuff like that better than white people do.
I mean, I was. I'm not gonna lie. I was in the straw for like a week, but I felt like the first time I was in the straw, but the second time really, really made me upset because I knew I did better than the first time, but I still wasn't quite at that passing score yet. But the day I took it for the third time, I came back home from the DNR building, and within an hour they called me and said, "Hey, William, good news, you passed your test. Now all I got to do is wait for a DNR officer to come inspect your enclosure, and then we'll send you permanent in the mail." I said, "All right, thank you, God, I did it." I almost cried. I was almost very, very emotional because it took me so long to pass that test, but I did it. So
see, man, we need more of that these days. I feel like people nowadays don't give a crap. They just nothing gets them excited. They don't care. They don't.
A little bit of adversity and they quit.
Yeah. It's like,
and like I said, I was one of them kids. I used to watch falcon videos all night on YouTube. That's how excited I was. I used to, like I said, make duct tape falcon hoods out of construction paper and duct tape. I used to get scrap leather and try to trace a glove pattern and glue it together. That's how determined and passionate I was about it. So that's kind of give me that push to actually like trying to get my permit.
I've seen some of your hoods recently too.
Yeah, I've gotten better. I'm not quite there yet, but
they're not the prettiest things I've ever seen. But
I know.
But shout out to you for trying because I've never.
Yeah, I'll be trying. Like I like trying to perfect my craft no matter what I do.
All the falconers in the country, I bet you, if you did a poll, I bet you like 2% of them have ever tried to make a falconry hood in their life.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried, Casey?
Yeah, I made a whole bunch.
Well, there's.
Yeah, I'm not good at sewing, so I just use
the Indian ones. They're the easiest. It's just one piece. You fold it.
Yeah,
I'll just leave that to Ken Hook and Ben Shelton.
Yep.
Yeah, buying a hood is obviously a lot better, but I think every apprentice. I never had an apprentice, but I think if I had one, I'd make him no braided equipment, none of this crap. You're gonna make all your own stuff. Huh?
Yeah, that was my
him.
Him who?
Make him?
Him, they, them?
Did you just assume your apprentice's gender, dog?
I'm pretty sure I can predict who I'll sponsor in the future.
That's crazy.
It'll definitely be a
That's crazy.
How about those ladies, right? Am I right?
Right,
Yeah.
man. That's my sponsor, or excuse me, my apprentice was female, and she did great.
Yeah.
She was tough as
Yeah.
nails too.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
she's a. I met her at the North Carolina meet.
Yeah.
She's a tough cookie. That one.
She certainly
nice,
is.
nice.
All right, Mo. So you got into falconry thanks to Kingston.
Yep.
You since that time, what kind of birds have you flown?
So the first bird I ever actually flew. So Kingston didn't tell me this at the time, but he actually trapped that bird like maybe a month before he gave it to me. So I'm over here thinking I got a brand new bird, but his mindset was he wanted to see my initial reaction and behavior with a bird in general without giving me like a freshly off the trap wild red tail that actually like God forbid, screw up and do the wrong things with. So he partially trained that bird before he gave it to me, and I did good with it. I was nervous, but it wasn't like I was terrified because I grew up with animals. I knew about life and death. I knew about meat and all that stuff when they ate. Things will die in the sport. So I feel like I did good. But anyway, I had that red tail. I had my second male red tail. He had a seizure in August, right before the season started. He passed away, had a seizure. But I would say I had maybe 6 red tails, and I flew Harris Hawks for a while. I've had one barn now just for fun. I really wanted to try to catch starlings and pinners with it, but that didn't work. That was a headache. She was a little imprint named Naira. But yeah, so I gave her to a nonprofit raptor organization a while back. But yeah, so mostly I've been flying. I've caught game with Harris Hawks and red tails. And a goshawk now. I've had a goshawk for the past couple months. So yeah, I've caught game with red tails, a goshawk, and a Harris Hawks. So yeah.
Very good. I love
I
that
feel like it's a
you're
nice little
trying.
progression. Nice little progression.
Exactly. You're doing different things.
Yeah.
So I know, how old is your dog that you have, first of all?
She turned 2 this past March.
Okay. So you've had a dachshund for 2 years.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So what year was that? I think it was 2022. I believe I met Casey the first time in person. He had Ginger at the time. Long live Ginger. But But yeah, so he had Ginger. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So he was literally waiting for the dog to pop the rabbit. I said, that dog was gonna go down a hole like that. He said, yeah, man, that's what she does. Okay, cool. So when she popped the rabbit, I said, okay, I gotta give me a dog now. So I think when I got home that night from the Jersey meet, I spent the weekend in the hotel up there. I asked Casey, do you know any good dachshund breeds on the East Coast that wouldn't mind helping me get a puppy? So he gave me Teddy Maritz's number. I said, okay, cool. So I hit up Teddy Moritz probably the day after that or like the night before, something like that. And she said she has some puppies that will be available in the next couple months. So I said, okay, cool. And I said I want one the exact same color as Ginger. So I went to Teddy's house. I think it was May 5th, I believe, either May 5th or May 12th of 2023. That's when I got Ghost. And yeah, so Teddy's like she had her puppies out, and Ghost came up to me. I saw adorable. So and yeah, so the reason why Teddy named her Ghost is because like she was the lightest color of the litter. All her brothers and sisters was like dark gray, dark brown, dark black, and she was like this very very pale brown color when she was a couple weeks old. So Teddy named her Ghost as a joke, and it just stuck with me, so I just kept her name. But yeah, she's a good dog. I really love her a lot. She's opened a whole new world for me when it comes to falconry. So I really appreciate having her.
I want to hear your thoughts when you rolled up to Teddy's house. Was this the first time you ever met Teddy in person?
Yes, talked on the phone for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks prior before I went to her house. And I was with my current girlfriend at the time, so I wasn't driving. Casey will tell you, I took Ubers everywhere. I have no shame in the minute I took Ubers everywhere.
No,
Literally.
I think it's a flex that you take Ubers, because I was going to mention that you took an Uber to the meet in Jersey.
I was waiting for that to come up, but yeah. So yeah,
these
anyway,
kids nowadays. Sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, these kids nowadays, bro, like they don't even try, man. Like you're taking Ubers, you're spending money. You got the Uber driver like freaking out because you got birds and dogs in the back of his truck. He's dropping you off at a field. Like that's I don't care what anybody says. That's commitment right there. So
I've seen a lot, and yeah. So back to Teddy. So I pull up at Teddy's house. The Uber driver drops us off, and she greets us outside with open arms. Like, gave us some fruit, some refreshments to get us acquainted with her family. Met her husband, nice guy, and she started asking me questions and making sure I was serious about actually hunting with the dog before I purchased the dog and took her home. So I said, okay, I understand. I'll make sure I do everything possibly to make sure the dog's successful in the field when I take it out hunting. And she said, do not let any of your family members spoil this dog. Do not let this dog become obese and a couch potato. I said, okay, roger that. I won't do that at all. So kept having to constantly remind my sister and my mom, this is not a couch dog. It's a hunting dog. I'm gonna take it in the woods. And every time the hawk would like show slight signs of aggression, I was flying a Harris hawk and a red tail that year. And luckily, she only got footed one time by that red tail because I think it was September 19th of 2023. She had her first squirrel kill. And we were on a trail. So we were on like a path. Like I used to hunt in my local community park backwood lot. And there was like a little walking / hiking trail. And so my red tail goes up in a tree, catches a squirrel, floats down with it on the edge of the tree. So I'm making in. I'm on my knees, squeezing squirrel to death. The dog comes between my legs, tries to bite the squirrel's back leg. The bird lets go of the squirrel and grabs Ghost in the face. Luckily, she didn't get hit in her eye or anything like that. So she gets scared, takes off full speed down the trail, waits at the bottom of the trail, won't come back until I got the bird and the squirrel's in my game vest. So yeah, after that, she never got close to the hawk again. She always stayed within like 5 or 6 feet of the bird. So yeah, everybody came and telling me, yeah, man, that's how they learn. That's how the dogs learn. It's okay, but I want the bird to kill the dog in the process of her learning. So yeah, so that kind of shook me up a little bit, but I got over it. And yeah, so got her chasing rabbit carcasses in my yard, dragging them with lines, and making sure make a little challenge for her every once in a while, hiding behind bushes, hiding behind my muse, making sure she really has to use her nose to find the carcass. But yeah, so it was basically like it wasn't that foreign to me because I've been a falconer. I knew the importance of making sure they eat and they see what they're going to be catching in the field the season coming. So yeah, I felt like it was a very learning experience for me as well because I never really. She was actually my first true hunting dog. I adopted Jack Russell Terriers from animal shelters, trying my best to put them in front of my birds and make sure they're good at the program. It never worked out because they were old dogs, 6, 7 years old. They didn't really know what they were doing, and I didn't really know what I was doing either because I just thought you can get a dog and take a hunting. But yeah. So like I said, Ghost was really my true hunting dog I ever had. So I really appreciate Teddy for selling her to me.
Yeah, it's a good dog. I've offered you.
How about Casey putting a good word in for you?
Oh yeah, he did. I appreciate that too, Casey. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and I remember I was see William doing drags and stuff, and yeah. I wasn't seeing too much on social media with the dog, and I remember I was like, you know what, that's a good dog. And I texted you and I said, I'll give you.
That's a good dog. William, how much you want for that dog?
I said, I'll give you this. I think I made quite the offer to you.
Yeah,
couple times, and he said no.
Did you really?
I saw her potential.
Oh yeah. How much was it?
I still got the messages. Like he said 800. He said 1,200. I said nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, my sister would kill me if I did that because she loves the dog as much as I do. So I said nope, can't do that.
Casey, I already knew her potential. I'm surprised he offered that.
No, well, that's a good dog right there, man. It doesn't get any better than that. And then on top of it, just this past season, we were down a hand, and William came to the meet, and we flew the North American Betsy, and we had Franny, and Franny was, she's still basically a puppy, but she gets weird with other dogs, so she was acting weird, and Ghost saved the day, man. Ghost went right down that hole. That rabbit shot out of it.
I didn't even see the hole at first. Ghost found the hole. I didn't know the hole was right there because he said the rabbit went down. I didn't see where the rabbit went. And I'm just walking, and Ghost, like, she puts her head down this little hole. I say, check. And she goes right in there, and the rabbit pops on the other side. So I was really cool for her to do that.
Yeah, and the North America, she just scooped it up like 15 feet from the hole, and Franny was just standing there looking at me. So shout out to Ghost for saving the day. And then I said, I said, if I have to offer you, now. I said, now she's worth 2,000 easy. So that's a lot of my budget. So it's a great dog, though, man. It's a great dog, and you did good with her.
Yeah, if the IRS is listening, he would have Mo write him a receipt, and he would call it a plumbing tool.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to say anything that's recorded, but everything's a write-off in my world.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
So, Mo, how did you train the dog to go down holes?
So basically, like I said, I did the rabbit drags, and I think the first thing I actually did was I had like those big black, what they call the ones you like the drain gutter pipes,
perforated corrugated pipe.
Yeah, the big black ball rings around them, and I will put a carcass of a rabbit or squirrel at the base of it, and let her like maybe go halfway through it, and let her pull it out, just for her to get like the actual feel of what's like going down a hole. And probably around the end of the season in 2023, there was a reservoir in my old neighborhood, and there was rabbits over there, and they were actually like there were used tunnels and not so fresh tunnels, and I would actually like allow her to go down each tunnel and see what she would do. She was hesitant at first, but if the rabbit went down there relatively recently, she'll actually go down there and be more interested. But if it's like a blank hole, if it's a dead trail, she wouldn't be that motivated going in the hole. But when she smelled the rabbit, it was there even like relatively recently, she'll actually go down there with no hesitation.
Yeah.
And she'll start barking inside the hole and really, really get on to the actual scent of the rabbit. So after that, it didn't take much convincing. And this past season, I actually found a nice area for rabbits. So that's where the goshawk got all the kills at. And they were actually like maybe in 5 to 6 feet tall briar patches. And she, without hesitation, went in the briar patch. She didn't care about the thorns. She didn't care about the how thick it was. She went right up under the briar patch, and the rabbit shot outside the goshawk, leave my fist, and kept the rabbit. So that was basically her training, trial and error, and like she really figured out, so okay, if I go down here, something's gonna pop out. It's gonna be exciting if I go down there. So I got that instilled in her at a young age. So yeah, like I said, basically with the black pipes, and slowly introduction to rabbit holes.
Yeah, you've done a good job with that dog, man.
I appreciate you, Aaron.
Currently, you're flying a goshawk.
Yep, I'm flying a 50-50 Siberian Finnish imprint.
Okay.
Where'd you get that bird from?
Andy McBride. Shout out Andy McBride. I was down on my luck. So I was originally going to get a half North American, half Siberian from Aaron Jones of California, but for some reason he said all of his clutch that 1 year was last year actually, they all became infertile, and I don't know what his deal was. I didn't know what was happening, so I said okay, no worries. So he sent me all my money back. I actually financed the goshawk I was trying to get for my system, maybe like $200 every month. At the end of every month, just to pay off my goshawk little by little. By the time I was ready, all I do is pay maybe the shipping and the health certificate or crate, whatever. So long story short, he sent me all my money back that I sent him, and I didn't touch it. I said, okay, the season is still open. Maybe I can get a hand-me-down bird or something like that, and make a last-minute imprint. And lo and behold, I went on raptorsforsale.com. Andy McBride said he had 50-50 Siberian Finnish goshawks chicks that are just now starting to hatch. So okay, cool, exactly what I want. So I called him. He said, hey man, do you have any? I asked him, do you have any more birds left? So yeah, I have 1/4 Finnish and 3/4 Siberian and 50-50 Finnish and Siberian. I said, okay, so how much for the 50-50? 2,000. I said, okay, cool. So I begged him off for $800. That was the difference. So I gave my Aaron maybe $1,600 over the course of 7 months to actually finance my goshawk. So my mom gave me $800 for my birthday. My birthday was in June, so it's coming up now. But it was maybe 3-4 weeks away. So she said, okay, here's a birthday present. Don't ask for nothing else for your birthday. It's okay. So anyway, I sent him the check through the post office, and he called me, say, okay, man, I'm about to take your bird to the airport. And Casey, he shipped his bird the same time because the airport was maybe like an hour for me. So I picked the bird up, and before he actually like put the bird on the plane, he said, hey man, it's want to ask, have you ever flown a scippiter before? I said, nope. It's okay. Well, just like let me tell you a few things about accipiters. He said one of the first things he told me, he said, just know around October, November, this bird's going to drive you insane. It'll give you a headache. It's going to do crazy stuff. We just got to thug through it and keep this bird. Originally, he said keep the bird as fat as possible and fly the bird fat. Don't worry about head counts. Make sure the bird stays alive. Make sure the bird is healthy. Make sure the bird doesn't get any crazy mess or anything like that. That's okay, cool. So I always kept that in the back of my head. So he was a breeder, so I'm assuming he knew what he was talking about. So I said, okay, cool. Went to the airport. Casey met me the next day, picked this bird up from the house. And yeah, that was where the journey started, my first goshawk.
Yeah, that worked out nicely, huh? You got your bird, I got my bird.
Yeah, my apprentice, he was very eager to see you. Thought you were a celebrity or something. So okay, cool.
And then he commented on how short I am. That was real sweet of him.
Yes, he's a cool guy.
What a nice kid,
he's a nice
huh?
apprentice.
What a nice kid.
He's a nice apprentice. Yeah.
Oh, you're shorter than I thought you'd be. I said, all right, bro, where's my bird? I gotta get out.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
I gotta get the hell out of here, bro.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I had a guy, my boy down in Georgia, Rashad. He said I look like I'm 6'2". When I told him I was 5'7", he lost his mind. He goes, "Nah, bro, you playing?" He's like, "You playing with me, bro? There's no way." I said, "I'm 5'7", bro." He's like, "Nah, you 6'2". I said, "No, I'm not, bro."
he's a nice guy. I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, Rashad's the man, bro. I love Rashad. I'll talk to that guy for like 2 hours, like just without even thinking. He's so funny. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's cool. Shout out Rashad.
Yeah, shout out to Rashad. We're gonna try to get him on the show. He's hilarious.
Shout out to your apprentice too, fan of the show.
Yeah, so he's actually my first apprentice. I have two currently. I have him, and I have another apprentice maybe like 45 minutes away from me. He's going through some really, really life problems right now, so he's not getting into it that much. He has his license. He passed his test. He has his license. He has his music. He has his facility inspected, but he's a cool guy. He checks on me, invites me out fishing, invites me out hunting on his parents' property. So he's a cool guy. But like I said, he has a license, so I told him to make sure you just keep renewing your license whenever you're ready. I'm always around. We can get you a bird whenever you want to, but just make sure your license stays up to date and valid. And instead of permits coordinator, you don't have a bird right now.
So he hasn't actually started yet.
No, he has a license, he has a facility all set up, but like I said, the midlife crisis with his family just hit him like a bomb. So he's very he's okay, but he's not that in the right mindset to start getting a bird and taking care of it and hunting with it yet. So I said, okay, whenever you're ready, just call me. We'll make sure we get you a bird whenever you're ready. So, but yeah, so back to Brandon. He's cool. He's I think he just turned 6. He's 15 or 16 right now. I keep forgetting his age, but he's either 15 or 16 right now. So yeah, he's a cool apprentice. He learns a lot. Very enthusiastic. And at the time, I was flying a cast of Harris Hawks and a big second year red tail. So yeah, it was cool. I took him out hunting. The birds chased. I was on maybe like the hotter days of September. So the birds chased, but they half-assed it. They didn't really. They tried, but it wasn't really that nothing to be impressed with. So yeah, I took him out a couple times. And yeah, he's learning. He's very enthusiastic about it. His dad's very passionate about it. And make sure his dad gets his credit because he always makes sure his son is doing the right thing. Make sure his son is serious about it. And yeah, so they're great people. I love them a lot. They're great people. Shout out to Team Woods Edge Falconry.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good people. So did you ask him to name you 3 Buteos and 3 Accipiters when you before you?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. I kind of just. I kind of sat with them and actually got a feel for his energy when I met him at my house. He was had a smile on his face. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't being too overly confident. He was very, very humble, and his dad was actually very enthusiastic about it as well. And they were hunting. They knew it was a hunting sport. They knew it was serious. It wasn't just keeping a bird in the shed all day for fun. But yeah, so showed him my Harris Hawk and showed him my red tail. Let him feed my red tail. So yeah, it kind of worked out. And they're very openly welcoming. They welcome me to their house, their family, all that stuff. They offered to actually take me places, and they let me use their Marshall GPS transmitter in the field whenever I'm with them. So that's very very respectable for them. So
that's a plus. That's a plus. There you go.
Yeah.
They're very enthusiastic, and they got a dog as well, right? Where'd that dog come from?
Kevin Staller, I believe his last name. Yeah, Kevin Staller. In Kentucky, they drove 10 hours to get that dog because originally they wanted a dog from Teddy. I think Teddy didn't have any dogs, but Teddy actually referred them to Kevin in Kentucky, and they said, okay, cool. So they settled for a Kevin dog named Nash.
Settled.
He just turned. No disrespect, Nash, but he just turned 1 a couple months ago, actually. So he's a good dog. He's a little chunky, but he's very, very cool. He's got a lot of potential. He loves ghosts, so they always get along.
Yeah.
But so like I said, they're getting it done. And we're actually going ridge trapping in September. We got invited by the PFAT president, Fran Gray, going ridge trapping the first weekend of September. So I've been kind of ridge trapping when I was an apprentice, but it's gonna be Brandon's first time going ridge trapping in September. So we're really excited for that.
What are you guys trapping for in September?
Red tails.
I go in October, but whatever.
Yeah, so like I said, Brandon said the best time to go is first weekend of September. So he saw apparently this is his words, all the big females, the hens that come down from Maine and Canada. He said they all migrate through the mountains of Century, Pennsylvania first, and then all the males come afterwards. So he said the best time to come is the first week in September. I said, okay, I'm taking your word for it.
Friend's the guy who's on TikTok, right?
Yeah, that's actually how he met me. That's how he met me. Yeah, he met me through TikTok.
Didn't he have the interesting looking red tail?
Yeah, that blonde morph red tail. That's cool.
That no one's doing a damn thing with, and it's just gonna sit in a mew and get their pictures taken of it. It drives me nuts. I called a bunch of people to try to get that bird so I could fly it, but
he's a cool guy. I actually met him.
But he traps a lot of. I will say this: he traps a lot of birds. So if he's saying come in September, then he knows
I wasn't gonna go back and forth with him. He said September, okay, cool, because I'm familiar with Maryland. Maryland trapping doesn't get good, like I said, till the end of the last couple of weeks of October. But like I said, somebody knows better than me. I'm always welcome to go and try their way. So like I said, sure. So he personally invited me through TikTok. I talked on the phone for 2 hours the night after, so it was kind of cool. And I actually met him one time in person at the Pennsylvania field meet this past January. So he's a really cool guy. He's really I had Diamond, a Siberian goshawk. I was actually about to go into the field with my apprentice and his dad. He stopped me for 15 minutes. That's so cool, man. Yeah, Seth Roy actually gave me one of those birds a while back as a present one time. It was basically telling me all the birds he ever had.
A present.
Yeah, so him and Seth Roy are very, very close. So he actually gave me a whole rundown of his history and his history in falconry, all that stuff. So yeah, the guy can talk, but he's a very cool guy. So I appreciate him inviting us to go ridge trap in September.
The only thing Seth has ever given me is a hard time.
Yeah, it's a headache. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
But
yeah,
yeah,
Fran's a good guy, and he's dealing with some stuff right now. So keep him in our prayers. But
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes,
he's
sir.
always on. When I was on TikTok before I gave up on it, because it's like a communist. You can't even post a picture of your bird eating without getting
always
bans.
I gotta be mindful because I post my hunting videos occasionally. I never post her breaking into the kill or actually like needing the blood or anything like that. But I'll post a chase and that doesn't get taken down. So I think it's just like when they're actually like eating, if it's very noticeable, it's red and all the blood and all the guts. That's how it gets taken down. But if you just the actual chase is fine, I believe. So
yeah, I just got tired of making videos and putting it on there and then getting flagged and stuff.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that.
All right, Mo, what was your experience like with the goshawk?
The story. So I think she was 19 days old when I got her. First couple weeks was cool. Got her out. She was eating. Luckily, Andy, the breeder, he had her eating by herself before he actually shipped it to me. So I didn't have to worry about her not eating on her own. So I actually like got a plate. What I would do, I would chop up whole quail, chop it up really, really finely with the game shears, and a little bit of Vital Hawk on it, and a little bit spritz of water. Make sure it's nice and moist for her to eat. So yeah, she would eat on her own. She would mostly sleep all day. First couple of days, she would sleep. And like I said, I never really put food in front of her. Always brought her to the food, so she won't try to grab my face on my hand in the future. And that kind of worked out in my favor a little bit. So yeah, so she got more mobile. When she started getting more mobile, I took her outside, let her sit in the yard with Ghost. Let her I always put her bowl in front of my yard. She used to hop out of her bowl, sit beside Ghost, sit beside my little outdoor fan I had, and just be a little imprint and walk around, do little flights, little flapping her wings here and there, exercising her flight muscles. And so I would actually keep her in a crib in my garage. And once she started hopping out the crib and trying to branch her way around my garage on my table on my reptile terrariums, I said, okay, you're going to your muse now. You're going to your muse. And what I would do is I would hack her outside of my backyard for 7 hours a day. But at nighttime, I would let her sleep in her muse once she started becoming more mobile, more flighty. And so I believe like 2 weeks, 7 hours a day. And she didn't go nowhere. She would stay in my yard, like maybe no more than 20, 25 yards. I used to always hear her scream all day. She would stay in the same tree majority of the day. And I had to learn because I would feed her before I put her on a hack, and it'll be pain in the neck to bring her back down in the day. So I would just put her outside all day and feed her in the day. So yeah, that's how I got her to come back down after the end of the hack. And luckily, nothing happened to her. No great horned owls, no predator got her. We had a lot of feral cats in my area at the time, so I had to be mindful of that. But luckily, nothing tried to attack her. And I had her lure trained from the get go. So as soon as she started walking out of her nest ball, I put the lure in front of her, let her eat from that lure almost exclusively, just so she'll have that connection, that familiarization with the lure, right? So yeah, like I said, 2-week tame hack, and she actually got out. I was with another falconer friend of mine. We were hunting. We're trying to enter her on gray squirrels on the edge of a graveyard, and I didn't notice at the time, but she wasn't the biggest fan of cars. She wasn't the biggest fan of moving cars. Every time a moving car will go maybe like 4 or 5 feet in front of her, she'll haul ass the other way, right? So this particular day, she actually we were trying to get her on. She was chasing, but she wasn't like serious about chasing, and she went up on a tree. Stayed up in a tree like 30 minutes, and she got distracted by a flock of crows, and she chased the crows across the highway, and she disappeared. We could still hear her calling. We didn't know where the hell she was because I didn't have the Marshall GPS telemetry. They had the telemetry. I had the I think Ella Electronics radio GPS transmitter. It was in my pocket. I've got to put it on her. So I looked in my pocket. Oh shit! So she had telemetry on. So
classic.
She didn't have it on her.
Done it.
Yeah, she had the tail mount on, but she didn't have the transmitter attached to her tail mount. So anyway, I was butthurt that night, and so what I did was like before I left that area, I was in the Maryland Facebook birding group. I said, "Has anybody seen my white Siberian goshawk?" And everybody kept. It kind of went a little bit of viral because everybody didn't know I was a falconer. So the Maryland birding group, they actually looked out for me. But then, what is it? That day was that day or next day? It was I'm trying to think. Was it that day? It was either no. It was the day before. Not the day after. My bad. The day after. The day after she got out. She got out in the evening the day before. So me and my mom went back there, the same location where she got out. And she wasn't there. She wasn't vocalizing. I didn't hear nothing. I went to the area where I first saw her take off at where she was. She wasn't there. So I was we looked maybe like 2-3 hours. So we went back home. And somebody just so happened, the Maryland Burden group, somebody sent me a message on Facebook Messenger. He said, "Hey man, I'm a construction worker. I'm a landscaper down in DC. Have you lost a white falcon?" And yeah, so they were everybody taking pictures of it. She was standing inside somebody's guard railing, looking at somebody's front door window. And eventually, she she went up to a tree and enabled to roost for the night. And so, like I said, I wasn't driving at the time, so my mom was actually at my grandmother's house, maybe 15 minutes away, where the landscaper was, where he saw her at. So, luckily, the landscaper, I really, really appreciate these guys because they actually they stood under that tree and waited for me to come down to get her because they'll make sure she didn't go anywhere else. So, I said, thank y'all so much. So anyway, I called an Uber down to location. They sent me the address. I sent Uber down. I called an Uber down to location, and I told Mom, I said, "Mom, go to CVS, get a flashlight, get like 3 flashlights with fresh batteries." That's what I did. And I had my game vest, I had my lure, my vest. And as soon as it's probably like maybe 8:30, something like that, 7:30, 8:30 at night, because it was dark. It wasn't no daylight at all. It was dark. So I go. Everybody meets me. The landscaper's girlfriend, or the other members of the team that we're with. They all stand on the tree, wait for me to pull up. My mom beats me there and say, "Give me the flashlight, give me the flashlight, give me the flashlight." So I got the flashlight, and as soon as she heard my voice, she came down like maybe 3 or 4 branches and looked at me. And so I threw the lure. I got a whole quail on the lure. I put the flashlight on the lure with a whole quail on it. She comes down, but then I don't know what she was doing. She comes down, she passes it, and lands on somebody's rooftop. So I go. I got permission. I went to the people's backyard, and I told everybody, I said, "Do not let this bird see you. I'm going to come down in the backyard with the flashlight and the lure." So I started whistling. I put the lure right below her. She made like 10 feet in the air. And she wasn't high anymore, so I can see her and she can comfortably come down on her own, right? So I threw the lure in the backyard and put the flashlight on the lure with the quail on it. She comes down. I let her settle in, grab her Jetsons, and went home that night. And my mom gave my mom was the best. I love my mom so much. She actually gave each of the people that stayed down that tree and watched her until I got there. She gave them each $50. But like actually like watching the bird while I was on my way down there. So it was like at first I'm like, "No, I don't need that. No, don't worry about it. So it's fine. It's fine. I was doing a good deed." I said, "No, my son will have a heart attack if they have this bird. Take his money." It's okay. So yeah, that was one of her many adventures she went on this past early season. So luckily she only stayed out overnight twice. So yeah, it wasn't I think she was going through a phase because I felt like I hacked her, but I didn't hack her like to a very, very great extent. So I guess she was just like flying around having fun, trying to figure out how to make her way in the sky or whatever. But yeah, so it was that was the kind of like the actual major part that was scary. But and of course like the legal stuff I got into with the hybrid, whatever that was about. So
You wanna talk about that a little bit?
yeah, we can. So yeah, so I think it was 2 days after I got her back from the well, yeah, she was in DC, by the way. The DC that's where I was landscape found her in DC, in a little a neighborhood in DC. That's where I got her back the flashlight. But anyway,
Hey, I want to ask a question about that. How far did she travel?
not far. It was definitely under 10 miles. It wasn't like across the whole state, but like I said, she was only having me released no more than 12 hours. So it wasn't like she was lost for like days and days and days. But like I said, like within 10 miles, that's how far she traveled. And luckily she didn't get herself killed by anything. So that was cool. She wasn't perfect. She was like, I took her out probably at I think 1125 grams, 1,135 grams, and I got her back and she was 945 grams. That's how much weight she lost between that 12-hour period. So I said, okay, cool. I kind of got her just in time before she got weak. So yeah, so that was a great fall. I was very appreciative of those people that actually watched her before I came down there and got her. But anyway, yeah. So 2 days later, I get a call from a DN officer. He says, hey man, this is William Dieng." I said, "Yes, sir." So I have a couple questions to ask you. Do you mind if I come down and speak to you? I said, "Okay, cool. I don't mind." I'm over here thinking like his annual inspection. So okay, cool. They're about to inspect me again. Well, yeah, he comes down and I showed him my bird, and he said, "This is the one I got out, right?" I said, "Yeah, I got her back." And he asked me how long was she lost for. I said, "No more than 12 hours." I got her back. I got her back within 24 hours. So he said, "Yeah, man, we have a violation here." So what's a violation? I was very calm and polite and respectful. I wasn't agitating like that. He says the violation was flying a hybrid Raptor without 2 properly functioning radio telemetry transmitters. I said okay, that doesn't really make any sense, but okay. So I'm over here thinking like a Siberian and a Finnish, the same species. Well, I'm pretty sure they are, but so I said, okay. I didn't argue with them, but man, as soon as he left my house, I flipped out. So what the hell is he talking about? Like, I literally got the bird back. I would understand it better if I didn't care, if I just let the bird do whatever it wants to, without like actively trying to get the bird back. But I got the bird back within 24 hours, so I don't really see it. Nobody got hurt. The bird wasn't injured. The bird wasn't in dire need of medical attention. So I kind of got a little frustrated. But look, that I knew a lot of good people, and my sponsor, he knew people, and the NAFA people reached out to me, and they actually like put in a good word for me. They're really, really upset that I had to go through that. And yeah, so my mom, long story short, my mom pays $2,500 for a lawyer. I go, I go up to the courtroom, and they say, my lawyer said this man is innocent. That's okay. They had other things to worry about. They had
Well,
like
sounds
people,
like a good lawyer.
yeah, they had people that were doing robberies, and
this man is innocent.
yeah, he was a very cool. He said, I'm not going to lie, man. Your case is one of the most interesting cases I've ever had in my 30 years of being a lawyer. So I said, wow, okay, I guess that means something to me. But look, the DNA officer was there, and he didn't, bro. So he didn't know what he was doing. I want him to sound disrespectful, but he said, I don't care. We can drop the case because like all he said was the permits coordinator told me to come give you a citation because you were flying a hybrid Raptor without two functional transmitters on his legs or his tail feathers or whatever.
So the falconry coordinator for your state snitched on you.
In a way, because like, it was kind of, I won't say I did the right thing because I told her to put out alert out all the falconers in the state. Has anybody seen my white Siberian goshawk? If anybody sees it, please contact me. I think that kind of raised her suspicion. Well, I don't think suspicion that doesn't matter now, but yeah, I told her it wasn't wearing telemetry, and I got out. Please need help finding. If anybody sees her, please shoot me a message or email, whatever. But yeah, I guess she said, okay, cool. It's a hybrid Raptor, no transmitter. Let's get this guy citation. You're doing the wrong thing. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so go in the courtroom. The judge says, hey, you're free to go, because the DNA officer didn't care. He said, okay, man, if you want to drop it, because he wasn't expecting me to pull up there with a lawyer. So he said, okay, I don't care. I'm just doing my job. But yeah, so anyway, I beat that, and that was kind of one of the hardest things I've ever done in my falconry career. So I was relieved, but at the same time, I was still mad that actually happened, because I never been arrested, never did anything like that, never got in trouble with the law, anything like that. So all that was foreign to me. I was put up in the court with a full blown suit, fighting a case involving a bird. It's okay. Like I said,
shiny shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, other people in that when they had like DUIs and a whole bunch of other legal stuff they're dealing with. I'm over here fighting a bird case. That's okay. So yeah, that kind of.
I got a feeling somebody dropped a dime on you.
Was that Aaron?
I got a feeling somebody dropped a dime on you.
Yeah, you can put it that way, but luckily everybody was happy. The whole falcon community was happy that I got that problem resolved, and yeah, that was kind of scary for me. But luckily,
it wasn't. When you called me about it, I said you're going to win no matter 100%. You're going to win because it's a win-win for all of us. Because if they were to charge you and convict you of flying a hybrid goshawk, a Siberian Finnish, without two transmitters, then that sets legal precedence that Finnish Siberian goshawks are two separate species, and now they become exotics.
Yeah.
And the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the state Fish and Wildlife Service, they don't want goshawks to be considered exotics. Because then that means
you can do whatever you want with them.
I could do whatever I want. I could do shows. I could take people to parks and hunt with them, and I could charge, and like nobody could say a thing to me because they're exotic species.
Wouldn't that be a real tragedy if that happened?
Well, it could be a tragedy because then people that aren't qualified, and William knows that a goshawk's not a joke, and if you don't know how to deal with it,
you don't know what you're doing. So
they'll mess you up.
Did you pick a worse pet than a goshawk?
Yeah, that's
no. So yeah, I was confident you're going to win, and then James Maynard, he got involved, and he sent me the everything that he wrote on behalf of NAFA. Yeah. And they just spelt it out pretty clear, that you. So I just wish that you didn't have to spend that much money. I wish you could have just
Well, like my mom always said, like you get what you pay for. So if I paid less than that, I probably wouldn't. Like the lawyer would care, but I feel like as much money we paid the man, and as long as all of his credentials he had on his profile, his lawyer page, or whatever, my mom said, okay, cool, you're getting this lawyer. But luckily, we got on a financial plan, so we pay him a little bit of money here and there every month. So he was very, very reasonable guy. So I really appreciate him. So.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. But yeah, it was scary for you, but at the it would have been a win-win. Not to.
That's okay. That's okay.
Not to belittle the situation you were in, but
yeah.
I was like,
It's
dude,
okay.
if they convict him, now all my goshawks out in my chamber are all exotic, so they can, I'll do whatever I want now. But they don't want that. So even though Aaron, what is it? The International Birders Association or something? They're classifying them as separate species.
Yeah, they reclassified goshawks amongst other things, and we really want to get an expert on here to talk about it at some point.
Correct. Yeah. We'll get an expert on to talk about it.
Now they're all Astur. They're not
accipiter no more.
They're not. Yeah.
No, they're always accipiters. They can kiss they can kiss my ass.
I'm not calling accipiter gentalis auster or whatever. I'm sticking to accipiter. So
yeah,
it rings off the tongue nice. It rings off the tongue very, very easily. But Diamond. So took her out hunting. Like I got advice from everybody else. Everybody saying drop her weight. So I was doing that, but I was so worried about dropping weight too low, and she gets weak and not able to function properly. That was my only concern. Like I didn't want to drop her too significantly, and she ends up emaciated. You know what I mean? So yeah. So eventually, I said, okay, cool. I'm just gonna keep putting game in front of her, keep trying my best to. It was very hard last year. I don't know why it was so hard for me. I couldn't find a lot of game anywhere. I tried. We've had slips here and there, but I don't know why, for whatever reason, like the squirrels weren't in good numbers. So I actually I really had to change my thinking. So my neighbors had a deer feeder in their backyard, and I didn't know at the time, but apparently that was their property woods. So I went back there not early, but relatively early in the mornings with the squirrels are out feeding on the corn, the deer feeder dropped. And this one, I think it was December 15th. That was our first kill that day, December 15th. And it was 55 degrees that morning. I went out there like 10 o'clock in the morning, threw up in the tree because she was already familiar with the area. She knew what we were doing. She knew we were chasing stuff, and she knew she was going to get to fly and hunt. So took her out to the back of the woods and threw up on a high branch. And it was a slope. The way the woods were, it was a slope, like a downward facing ravine at the bottom of like a shallow creek. And so anyway, walking to the woods, walking me like 5 minutes. She takes off down the ravine at the bottom of the hill. I slide down with my jeans on, and my falconry bag on, and I see her, and I knew she was chasing something, but I couldn't see the squirrel anymore. So where'd the squirrel go? So she's standing above this fallen log, looking down. I said, okay, what's up? So I go in to pick her up, and the squirrel shoots out of a knot hole in the fallen log, and she smokes at the base of a tree. Like she chases her around the tree and grabs her back in the front of the tree right before I went up the tree. It's okay, cool. So I was standing like I was shaking. So she really got it. That's okay, cool. So I'm over. I walk up there. I was trying to keep my composure because I've been trying for so long to get this bird a kill. So I walk up to the base of the tree, and she's screaming like crazy, manting over it. And so I reached in my gloved arm, and start dispatching the squirrel. Right, so I'm squeezing squirrel. She's still screaming. I pull my phone. I said, "We fucking did it! First kill, baby! First kill! Siberian finished goshawk." And then something clicks. Oh shit! I gotta let her eat the squirrel. I gotta let her break into it. So I put my knife out and I cut it open, let her start having that and enjoying herself. So yeah, so that was our first kill, December 15th, 2024, 55-degree day. She was 1,000 and how much she weighed? 1,056 grams that day. So she wasn't heavy, she wasn't light. She was like right kind of in the middle. She definitely could have lost a lot more weight, but it was a good weight for her because like she didn't get bit. She grabbed the squirrel from the back, but she grabbed it in a way it couldn't turn around and bite her. So I think she grabbed like from the butt and from the middle of the torso. So it was trying to bite her hallux, but just couldn't reach over and bite her. So luckily she didn't get bit. So that wasn't a bad experience for her, and she actually like ate half the squirrel that day. So I was like, okay, cool. So that was kind of one of the best feelings ever. I've been a falconer for 8 years, but that was the pinnacle of my falconry career so far. Like, getting a goshawk, first kill, first imprint goshawk.
Yeah, man, you did it.
Yeah, I sent that video to you on iMessage. I said, we did it. We got a kill.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. No, it's anybody can go out and get a goshawk, but it's a completely different story to get that goshawk to catch something. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of effort, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much effort it takes.
Yeah.
You know, all of us here know that it takes a lot of effort, and it's sometimes you see people, that are really good, and I'm watching these videos, and I'm like, that's, it doesn't look that hard. And then you go out and get a bird, and you're like, oh my god, this is this is like a nightmare.
It was originally I wanted a chamber raised bird, but I wasn't going to pay more than $25 for a bird. So I said, okay, cool, guys, imprint. Let me get imprint because they were cheaper. And I don't know why East Coast guys, they're cool, but they want an arm and a leg for a goshawk. So I said, okay, cool, let me go out, get some breeders up out west. So that's what I did. And I think it paid off. I think I made the right decision. So yeah. And
I'll try
luckily,
and buy a red tail from out west.
I can go out and field and trap a red tail for free. I can go get a red tail for free whenever I want. So
Yeah. No. Don't get Aaron. Don't rile me up, man. Don't rile me up about those chocolate red tails.
oh yeah, those they're cool. They're cool.
Yeah, they're real
But
cool.
yeah.
Real expensive.
Yeah. And yeah, so like I said, it was a good season for us. We didn't catch a crazy. We caught 12 rabbits, a squirrel, and a field mouse. But luckily, I found a nice field. It was a park, but it wasn't like I wasn't in the park. I was in the field on the outskirts of the park. I was in the back woodlot of the park. But yeah, so we found like a shit ton of rabbits. I don't know why there was so many rabbits out there, but originally I found out like there was like a duck pond, and I was I think Daryl Perkins hit me on Facebook. He said, "Man, you know better than that. Don't put that gossip over that big body of water on them ducks." Okay, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be polite. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. He says, "Okay, man. Just let's find some creeks or like a ditch or something like that." But he said, "Don't that'll ruin your gospel's confidence. So you keep on putting over all the big body of water while the ducks keep on having slips over big bodies of water like that." It's okay, cool. So I caught her back, and I went to that field because I said, "Ain't no way." I said, there has to be something in this field because like it was a big open patch of briars and really overgrown weeds and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm walking through the field with her in my fist, and she jumps off my glove. I'm holding her back and I'm over thinking she got scared or something, but normal was a rabbit like right at my feet. I literally kicked it out of the bush, not even knowing, and I held her back. And that was actually the first time I actually like direct pursuit a rabbit off the glove. That's so shit. So I let her go, but the momentum was gone. So long story short, the rabbit got away that day. But I came back maybe a day or two later, and she got her first rabbit. That was cool. So it was actually like a maybe not even 8, maybe like 6 or 7 inches of snow on the ground. And I had Ghost with me at the time. Well, yeah, I should have had her with me in general, but she was with me because a tyranny actually hit me and said, "Man, bring Ghost, bring Ghost, bring Ghost." Okay. So I brought her and she found a rabbit. And yeah, so she pushed out. I was on the trail, right? Each side of the trail had deep, like 5 foot, 5, 6 foot briar patches. And all the rabbits were tucked away because there was snow, and all the rabbits were tucked up in there trying to stay warm, got the snow. And she chases one right in front of me, and the rabbit takes literally just a straight shot, and she chased on the trail. And the gossel leaves my pitch, she chases it, she grabs it. But I had a GoPro, but I was still getting used to the angles. All I got after the day was over, I took my GoPro back to my computer, looked at the footage. All I got was a shot of the clouds. I said, "Shit!" I was like, "That was the first rabbit. I could have caught that on camera." But anyway, yeah. So she caught that rabbit, like she got right before went to the back of the briar patch. She got it, grabbed it by the head, and I'm over excited. So I get her, I try to break the rabbit's neck, pull my phone out, took a picture. The rabbit came back to life because I didn't break his neck all the way. And so she has a tail guard on, and the rabbit starts hopping like ginger, like or pathetically hopping, trying to hop back to the briar patch. He catches it again with the tail guard on. I said, "Okay, cool." So I literally like tried my best to like really dispatch that rabbit as quickly as I can. So it ended up dying. She got to eat it. So I gave her some, gave Ghost a front leg, and yeah, that was a cool day. And I kept going back to that field for the whole season. I actually finished my season up at that field, but I said, "What's the catch? There ain't no way these rabbits out here. Like there has to be a catch." So there's only 10 minutes from my house, and nothing could go wrong. But I said, "What's the catch? There has to be a catch." So unbeknownst to me at the time, there was a local beagle club training beagles down there to hunt cottontail rabbits. So I had a couple run-ins with them for the basketball season. So I said, "Okay, I actually finished my season on the 21st of March instead of the 31st. I really wanted to at least get 20 kills. I only made 14, but I really tried to get 20. But luckily, I had not felt like hearing those beagle guys' mouth anymore. So I said, "Okay, let me cut my losses. I don't feel like doing these guys no more." So yeah.
What happened? What happened? Tell us about that.
So I didn't know them personally. I never seen them before. But yeah, so I met one guy. He was very, very cool. He said, "Man, I was working a brush pile with the bird and the dog, and I hear barking." I said, "Okay, somebody must be walking their dog." So I look up to my left, and these 2 beagles came out of nowhere. I said, "Okay, cool, we got beagles." And Bill started barking, so I picked her up, put her back in her kennel, and talked to the guy. I said, "What's up, man?" I was being polite and not trying to be rude. I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name's William. Nice to meet you." I said, "Hey, what's up, man?" I said, "You training beagles out here?" I said, "Yeah, man, we just training because we do American Kennel Club competitions and stuff like that." It's okay, cool. So he sees the guy stuck on my face. I said, "What's that, man? Is that a bird?" I said, "Yeah, we trying to catch some rabbits and squirrels." I said, "Man, please don't kill all of our rabbits. Please don't kill all of our rabbits. That's all we got to train our dogs, man." I said, "Okay." So anyway, so I was polite. I said, "Okay," but I went back to the opposite side of the field and caught a rabbit that day. And the beagles started following me because I had a rabbit. I dispatched the blows in my vest. They spilled my vest, and they started walking with me behind me the rest of the way back to the parking lot of the area. But yeah, so anyway, that happened maybe 3 or 4 times, and it got kind of a little bit more sketchier because I said, "Okay, let me get out of here. Let me finish the season up." And start a new plan next season because I really didn't feel like dealing with nobody else. That was kind of mess up the whole hunt.
Was it like their property, or is it just like where
No,
they?
it was according to them, like I didn't know them personally, but according to them, they were saying they trapped wild cottontails and relocated them for training purposes. I don't know how legal that was, but I didn't go back and forth with them. But they said that but we pay people to trap rabbits out here. We let them go out here. I said for training purposes. Okay, well they're rabbits. They're gonna reproduce. So I said okay, well that's what they said. I didn't believe it either, but like I said, I didn't go back and forth with them. Okay, Aaron.
Yeah, that's weird. That's yeah, it's So you don't know if it's public property or if it's like a private hunting
I mean,
club?
it was public. It wasn't private. It was public because, like I said, everybody. It was a wood lot in a field, but it was next to a construction zone. But it wasn't like no heavy machinery. It was like
But like
a
it's
truck
not
here and
owned
there.
by like a hunting club.
No, it's areas that people actually like go to because like you can go anywhere and nobody will care. The construction people, they saw me passing the area every time what my bird said. They waved at me, say how you doing. It was nothing. It was nothing like I would get arrested for, but it was just those guys that just so happened to be there training their beagles on the rabbits that were there. There was so many rabbits out there.
Yeah.
But I said, what's the catch? There ain't no way all these rabbits out here this amount. We don't. In my area, we have rabbits, but you have to really actually like go kind of seclude locations to find the rabbits. But
Right.
yeah, so either way, I was grateful I actually got the opportunity to catch that many rabbits that one season. So
Well, that's good. I mean, listen, when you get a new goshawk, you got to do what you got to do to get that bird going.
that's my thinking.
Yeah.
That was my thing. I said if I knew there's game there, that's where I'm gonna go. If all the other problems come later, all the other people and all the other mishaps come later.
Exactly.
So that was my thinking.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's good thinking. So now, what was your overall take on flying a goshawk? Like, what did you think of it? Because I remember. Let me just set it up. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, no problem.
At the beginning of the scene, I remember you made a post and you had the baby goshawk in the nest, and you said, "This is going to be a breeze." Is what you said.
I didn't say that.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. But
yeah, you
I
did.
Didn't say,
you actually said it's finna be a breeze. That's what you said.
Oh yeah, on my story.
On your story.
Yeah.
So was it a breeze? What do you think?
No, it was a very a slight windy day. It wasn't a breeze. It was a slight wind.
It's not a breeze, right?
a slight one. So I said, yeah, I would do it again, but I wouldn't. Knowing what I know now, I will take my approach slightly different. But I enjoyed the overall experience. I really enjoyed the feeling of accomplishment, which actually like started catching stuff. That was the best feeling I've had. Because like I said, I've caught game with the red tails and Harris hawks, but when you take a goshawk and you raise it from a baby and watch the progression, and you actually like watch how it develops, how it's starting to fly, how it's starting to actually like grab stuff, how it's starting to become more aggressive on food. I feel like that whole process and the actual end result of her killing stuff in the end, that was the best feeling I had with raising the goshawk.
Yeah, man. Because listen, I got a goshawk years ago, and I caught a couple head with it, and I remember, Paul and Phil, they were really proud of me, and I'm like, yeah, thank you, but isn't that the point? And they said, no, you don't understand. Like, a lot of people get goshawks and they don't do anything with them. They get scared of them. They sell them. They just throw them in a chamber. They can't handle it. The bird, they just can't push through and get that first kill. So the fact that you did it, and I'm saying this to you, like the fact that you got a bird, you powered through it, you dealt with all the BS, and you got a significant number of kills. I mean, listen, there's brag boards of people catching 12 rabbits, and they're all proud of themselves. So you did it with a first year imprint goshawk.
Yeah. I really wanted 20. I really wanted 20, but I did not feel like dealing with those beagle guys. It's the only thing that held me back. I did not feel like dealing with them.
Well, because you moved too, right? So you moved to a new area.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
And I was still getting familiar with the area, with all the landscape, all the game areas. Like there was hunting areas around me, but like I said, the only experience I really had hunting was going to my back park where the lot was squirrels were plentiful, and they really didn't pose much of a challenge to my red tails or Harris hawks. They already see people. They're used to people. They're not really that as skittish as a wild squirrel been in the woods all whole life. But yes, it was a new challenge for me. I really feel like I did something good. I really feel like I actually accomplished something I really wanted to accomplish. But yeah, so it was something I really always remember, no matter how long I'm becoming falconer for. My first guy saw killing something that was really special to me.
Yeah, man, it's definitely special, and I congratulate you for doing it.
I appreciate you.
All right, that's a pretty good transition to my next question for you. You're in Maryland.
Yep.
You're right there by DC.
Yep.
What's it like to hunt there in such a populated area?
Like I said, I wouldn't call it cheating because I caught stuff that was in the wild. It wasn't like I didn't serve my bird baggies all day. I actually went to the woodlots and caught squirrels, but like there was a lot more squirrels here than rabbits. I'll tell you that right now. But if you want rabbits, you have to either go across the Bay Bridge to go Eastern Shore of Maryland. Was for some reason swinging rabbits. I don't know why, but for some reason always across the Bay Bridge. But we do have rabbits up in Northern Maryland, places like Allegheny County, but it's kind of like a 2-hour drive for me, so I didn't really have that option when I was in my early years of falconry. So I would go to parks, go to backwood lots of parks, walk around my neighborhood with a hooded red tail, hooded a hair hawk, whatever I had flying at the time. And I would catch lot squirrels. And yeah, I remember one time I was hawking with a guy. He had 2 female hair hawks. Yeah, he had 2 female hair hawks, and I had a male. I had a Tirso and a big female from Luis Rodriguez. I got a couple years ago. And they actually caught a squirrel on somebody's apartment roof, and they ate it that night, and they stayed up there all night. And I had to come back the next day, like 5 o'clock in the morning, call them down. The pouring rain. They came down next morning, but they caught a squirrel on somebody's roof. And ate half of it that night. So yeah, so it's tricky, but it's not overly difficult. You just have to make minor adaptations and minor adjustments if you want to be successful becoming a falconer in this part of the Maryland I'm at. But like I said, if you have 2 hours to travel, you can go up to like the northern parts of Maryland, get really in the woods and the agriculture areas. They have a lot of fields. My apprentice actually lives in maybe an hour and 40 minutes away from me. And they have a lot of access to a lot of farm properties, a lot of the rabbit country up there. So I have a truck now, so I can go up there anytime I want to during the season. So that's my goal. But yeah,
that's great, man. So my in-laws actually live in PG County.
That's where I'm at.
Okay. And in their neighborhood, they've got a spot that has black squirrels in it.
Oh, really? Nice. I've only seen maybe a couple of them. I've only seen a couple of them here, but yeah, they're here.
Have you ever caught any?
No. I've had chases. I've had my hair hawk chase a couple, but I've only caught average gray squirrels. I caught a couple bigger ones, but I've never caught a black squirrel. I've only caught gray squirrels. Well, on gray colored gray squirrels.
Right, because the black ones are gray, right?
Yeah, I think there's morphs, something like melanistic or something like that.
It's a gray squirrel that's like a morph of a, right, Aaron? You know more than me.
Yeah. Mo said it. It's a melanistic gray squirrel.
Right. Yeah. I've been trying to catch a real one for a long time, and I caught one, but it was like a chocolatey color, and its like tail was like all ratty and gross. And
that's the one that Betsy caught the first year.
Yeah, Betsy caught her first year, but it wasn't a very pretty squirrel. I've always wanted to catch like a nice jet black squirrel, like with one of my birds. I've never done it.
I would mount it.
Oh yeah.
If I caught an albino squirrel, for sure I'd mount it. Black squirrel, I'd mount it if it was a nice looking one.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then, that's pretty much it. I've still got my first squirrel I ever caught in the freezer.
Why?
Yeah. I can't do that. Like everything my bird catches, it eats.
I thought about mounting it, but I bet it's like a mummy at this point.
Just mount a fresh one and just say it's your first one. Who cares?
We'll take the hide off a fresh one.
I could chop the head off and clean the skull.
Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Mo?
I said take the hide off a fresh squirrel and like put it across the carcass of the mummified squirrel.
Yeah, whatever you got to do. You know, like there's Aaron. Do you have another direction you want to go? First of all, you need to go to your in-laws and catch a black squirrel this season. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I'll meet you there too.
Yeah, I don't want you guys anywhere near there, especially Mo. He lives there. I can't be having him going to that spot.
Hey,
where there's a bunch of black squirrels.
My goshawk has to eat, Aaron.
Yeah.
The goshawk got to eat, right? You know where there's a lot of black squirrels is in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Is it really?
In front of the White House, it's full of black squirrels.
I probably get shot by a drone if I go down there with the hawk.
Dude, we should do that. That'd be a sick YouTube video.
Yeah.
Catch a squirrel right in front of the White House.
Local news: 2 men accused of poaching squirrels with hawks in front of the White House. So I say,
I wonder if there's an ordinance for no hunting there.
Yeah, you can't hunt. The only thing, like I think falconry is illegal in Hawaii and DC. Only because DC is no hunting at all in DC. You can't hunt nothing in DC. I think rats you can do, like I said, dachshunds and going back out there because they're rats. They're not really a game species, but there's no hunting at all in DC. That's why a lot of falconers that grew up in DC. I know a couple guys that actually lived in DC they had to relocate to Maryland because there's no hunting allowed in DC at all. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's only
that's pretty
very
lame.
Interesting. I'd still hunt there though.
I know you would. I know you don't care. In case you go anywhere.
It's not that I don't care. It's like they're talking about hunting in terms of guns usually when they write those legislations.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not going to be a bird. I'm not putting anybody in danger.
Yeah, I mean, you probably get away with it, but just don't let the wrong person see you doing it. That's the only thing I gotta say. Just don't let the
I
wrong
wonder if you're
individual.
allowed to trap in DC.
That's a good question.
Or like red tails and stuff? That's a good
I
question.
mean, I've caught
No,
red tails in DC. I've caught technically I've caught a red tail on the highway that leads PG County to DC, and it was right next to a water treatment plant, so the smell was kind of repulsive. But anyway, it was for some reason there was there's a lot of nesting red tails on that main highway. It's like the National Harbor, and there's the DC side. So there's a really really big bald eagle nest on National Harbor. You see it every time you pass the highway. Like the lower part of that actual forest, there's actually a couple of red tails that nest down there. So every October, you see the babies hanging out on the power lines above the highway. So me and my friend, we had a BC trap. We trapped BCs. We trapped with the BCs on the highway. We put them on like the actual guardrail and the red tail. We would drive down the highway, throw the trap out the window, come back across the other side of the highway, come back, and the red tail will be there all played out. Luckily, put in the air with the cars wouldn't go and actually kill the bird. So
Good.
yeah, that's how I caught my 2023 red tail I had on the highway in DC.
That's cool.
Yeah,
you should have named it Freedom.
I should have.
Or some patriotic name.
Yeah, Liberty
or something. Yeah. Yeah, man, that's
Star
cool.
Spangled
It's
Banner.
a different world. A lot of people, in other parts of the country, they don't deal with the stuff that you deal with where you're at with the high density of people. And I mean, I've been to your new place, and it's real nice, real peaceful, and you got some space there. So it's
like my old area. It was kind of like that, but the house was a lot bigger. We lived in a cul-de-sac, so we had a lot of neighbors. But like I said, the only plus side of living in that the house I was at, I could walk 2 minutes down a trail. I'll be in a woodlot with squirrels in it. So
it's nice.
And actually, like I don't know why, but some reason there was always a flock of migrating wild turkey every fall and early winter. There was always a flock of migrating wild turkey. My hair dog actually bound to one time. So I don't know why she always chase them, but she'll never catch them. But this particular day, we were walking. She takes off full speed through the woods, and she swoops past the hens. And for some reason, this big tom comes out strutting in the middle of the woods, and like it walks right under her. It didn't see the hawk. It walked right under her. And she comes, I don't know why she did. She comes and grabs it from the back end. And I said, hold on to it. I'm running full speed through the woods. I said, hold on to it. Don't let go. Hold on. But meanwhile, she's getting kicked by a tom turkey. It's kicking her, pulling feathers, all that stuff. I come within maybe like 6 feet of it because I'm getting tangled up in vines. I'm pulling all the branches away. Because I'm like maybe 16 feet away from her. So he's wrestling with a turkey. I'm running full speed trying to catch up with her and hold the turkey down so she needs. And I can say I caught a turkey with a hair assault. But anyway, I get there within 5 feet. Or Tom breaks free. She gets a talons full of feathers and takes off flying to the wood. I said, damn. I said, why'd you grab it from the ass? Why'd you grab the turkey from the butt? Grab it from the head. So anyway, but that was one of the better stories of falconing I can tell y'all. But
turkeys are tough, man. They're sneaky. You ever seen? I've seen it with my goshawks trying to catch them, and those toms, man, they do all kinds of crazy stuff where they spread their wings and they offer their back and their back of their wings to the bird, and when the bird makes a pass, they duck their head and like throw up their wings so the bird will
like a matador.
Yeah, like literally like a matador. Yeah, it's crazy. They're really hard to catch. Like unless they just sneak attack them.
She had it by the butt, but I just couldn't get there in time to help her with it. But she was holding on to it for everything she had. But yeah, so I've only caught rabbits and squirrels successfully. I've a couple of hair assaults. They grab barred owls out of trees, but luckily I never caught anything that's you're not supposed to catch. So I've only caught game species, thankfully.
Good, yeah. So what's I want to go back a little bit. I don't know if Aaron cares. It's kind of like going back in time a little bit. I kind of want to know like what the deal was with the mink. How'd that go?
Oh yeah, so actually I was what year was that? A second or third year general, I believe. Still a very early general falconer, and I was actually on Eastern Shore. I was flying a cast of Harris Hawks from the Coastlands. My friend, he transferred me because that was when the Harris Hawk I got from Luis Rodriguez, it got away. Well, that's a whole nother story, but so my friend felt bad for me, so he transferred his cast of Harris Hawks. He had a male and female Coastal bred Harris Hawks, so I flew them for the season, and I just came back from Eastern Shore. I caught a squirrel. I got invited by another group of falconers on Eastern Shore, Maryland. I went out with them. We caught a squirrel. And one of the hosts of that little mini meet, if you will, he said, "Hey, I got a guy that lives up by you. He wants to go hunting with you." I said, "Okay, cool." So I called him. He said, "Hey, come on, man. We'll go hunting. I got properties. We'll go hunting together. I got Harris Hawks too." So yeah, go to his house, and this man had everything. He had gerbils. He had 2 Harris Hawks. He had big, huge sulcata tortoises. He had African claw frogs. He had everything. He was like, "Okay, this is awesome. I really like this guy." When I said, I look in the corner, and he has a little almost like a chicken guinea pig hutch, whatever you want to call it, but I said, "What the hell is that?" Because that's a mink. I said, that's really a mink?" I said, can I pet it? Does it bite? He said, man, you'll lose a finger. Don't pet that thing. It's okay. So I said, where'd you get it from? I said, Joseph Carter. I already knew who Joseph Carter was. I was on YouTube. I watched his videos every once in a while. So I already knew who he was. So I said, okay, cool. I got to get a mink now. So anyway, but the guy gave me his number. So I called him. He said, first thing he said, buy my book, man. Then talk to me. It's okay. That's basically what he says. So, so I bought his book, read it cover to cover. It was kind of like a falconer book almost. Really like a falconer book, based on like describing all the techniques, the equipment, the meat, the value of the meat, how much meat you give him, how much time you got to spend with him, all that good stuff. So anyway, so I got his book, read his book, called him back. I said, hey man, I really want a mink. We're gonna build the enclosure, we're gonna build a setup, and I'm gonna make sure I really do a good job with his mink. So he said, okay. So he sold me he had a 2-year-old male mink named Stubby. He named it Stubby. Yeah, so he shipped it to me. It was ground transportation, so I paid like $400, I think, for a big freight truck to ship it from Utah to Maryland. And the mink itself was, I think I paid maybe $450, $500 for the mink, I think, at the time. Yeah, so it was expensive, but long story short, that mink got out because I didn't, my dumbass, I ain't know mink could dig out of enclosure. So I had a little tractor supply rabbit hutch that was maybe like 4 feet, 5 feet long. And he dug out there within a week. I said, shit. So I came home from my job. I said, where the hell did mink go? So anyway, I was kind of upset about that. So the following year, he sold me a kit, a little maybe 4 or 5 week old kit. And I named that Mink Jackson. Mink Jackson. I named that Mink Jackson. So yes. Anyway, yeah, he was cool. I caught bullfrogs with that mink. I used to go through creeks. He used to follow me through the creeks, or walk through the creek with no shoes on, flip flops, whatever. And he would actually go in like little frog holes and catch bullfrogs and bring them back out and just tear them apart in front of me. So that's okay. So yeah, again, I went to Petco, got him some baggy rats, let him kill rats. But he was a good little animal. But I wouldn't do it again because they're more trouble than they're worth. I really wouldn't recommend nobody else getting a mink. But it was fun. I enjoyed the experience. But he caught a respiratory infection. I think this what happened because he just died right in front of me one day. So he was I was feeding him through the bars of his enclosure. He had like I don't know what he had, but he was eating. And all of a sudden he stopped and started shaking uncontrollably, started doing convulsions, and he's passed out and started twitching, and then he died. That's what the hell happened to you. So I talked to Joseph. He said, yeah, he probably caught a respiratory infection because like the young ones are very susceptible to respiratory infection. So I felt like he was pooping a lot more than I could clean it, and so he kept on like going around his poop and inhaling all the fumes from his decomposing poop. So I guess that's what killed him. Got into his lungs, and the spores got into his lungs. I'm assuming that's what killed him, but yeah, I wouldn't get another mink. I wouldn't go through the headache of getting another.
It's a lot of work. Does it bite a lot? Like,
I mean, I never handled him without gloves. I never handled him without gloves. So I tried, but he would always like figure out a way to bite my thumb. So I'd rather get footed by a big red tail than get another bite by a mink. I said, "Oop, I'm not doing that." But
No,
yeah, I always had gloves. Always had gloves when I trained him. So he was cool. He was you can pet him, you can do that stuff with him, but you never actually hold him without gloves. Because yeah, one time we were in like a small little creek. He went down my shorts. I said, "Please don't bite. Please don't bite." I said, "Please don't bite." But yeah, that was one of the most scary things I've had. He went down my shorts, kind of. Don't bite my family jewels. Please don't. I would really be depressed.
He's hunting worms down there.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a good experience. I don't regret getting it, but yeah, it was a very, very different experience to train a hawk. But yeah, I did have a mink for a short time.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember that. I wanted to know the story behind that. I didn't really know. I remember seeing a couple stories of like a little one, so I didn't know you had two. But.
Yeah, that was the kid I had. I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 months before he passed away. But yeah, so that was that's my little mink journey I had. I still got a couple training videos on my highlights on Instagram page.
Yeah, after we had Joseph on the show, I started really thinking about it, but I got too much. I got too much stuff going on, bro.
You got like 3 goshawks and a screech owl now, apparently. So
yeah, it's too much. Too much. I ain't got time for a mink.
Yeah, I think I got some extra time.
Yeah,
and I know Aaron is. Yeah, they're fun. Don't get me wrong; they're very fun, very cool to work with. But I just didn't have the patience anymore. I really didn't. And plus, the birds already took enough of my time already. So
yeah,
and I do keep reptiles. So I did not feel like having another small mammal to take care of. And then I had a dachshund, so I'm not gonna. I didn't really need a mink because I already had another small animal going whole. So I had a dachshund. So okay, so let me just deal with this.
Yeah.
I'll leave the minks to my boy Joseph.
Yeah, he has the know-how. I just don't have the time or patience anymore.
Yeah, he's a pro. We'll let Joseph do it. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll get into it or I like to just catch like a couple muskrat and like a couple things with it, and then just be like, okay, I did it.
Yeah.
Like how a lot.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I caught bullfrogs with it or something, so that's okay.
Yeah, like how basically how a lot of people treat falconry, where they get a red tail, catch one thing with it, and they're like, okay, I did it, and then they just fall off and disappear.
And then,
I always try to.
They keep that picture on their Facebook profile.
Yeah, and then tell everybody how to fly birds in the comments.
Yeah, like I said, I always try my best to make sure my bird like is actually like in the woods trying to catch stuff, because like I always told people it's not a pet. Everybody come like, well, can you take a pet hawk out? Can I see a pet hawk today? It's not a pet. I always it's not a pet. It's a bird I use for hunting. So that's what I do. I keep it. I have a license to possess it, but I don't go around saying this is my pet hawk. I keep. So yeah, I've always tried my best to keep my birds happy and in the woods where they need to be trying to catch stuff. Like I took Ubers. I took Ubers to Philadelphia. I took Ubers to across the Bay Bridge, Jersey, Pennsylvania, all that stuff. Only because I know that if I don't fly this bird, it won't be good for the bird or me, because I want to make sure this bird is getting the best possible lifestyle it has in captivity. So yeah, even if I don't catch anything, I know I'm doing my best to make sure the bird's out in the woods doing what it needs to be doing. That's catching game and being a bird, being a raptor. So
yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, it's dedication right there.
Mm.
How much do you think you've spent on Ubers over the years?
An ungodly amount, to say the least. Yeah, I've took Ubers everywhere. My friends still make fun of me because I have a truck now and I started driving very recently. But people say, "Dang, you take Ubers everywhere." So I don't care, man. Like if I can get around, I'm going to find a way to get around. Because yeah, I've done crazy. And matter of fact, I was talking to this one girl, 2020. Yeah, that first meeting I met Casey. I had two girls in the hotel.
Yeah, this guy rolls up, bro. He rolled up like a pimp, bro. He rolled up to the meet in an Uber black with two girls get out. I said, yo, what's this guy doing, bro? He got his bird.
Because I was talking to her and I told her I was going to Jersey for outdoorsman convention, because I didn't feel like going to the whole explanation with falconry with her at the time. So yeah, I said yeah, I have a thing I have an event to attend to. So they said, can I come? I said, okay. How you getting here? I said, I can ride with you. I said, okay. Can my friend come? I said, who's your friend? I said, okay, fuck it, come on. So we all piled into this Uber, drove 2.5 hours to Jersey for the Jersey meet. But yeah, and then that was something to remember me by. But yeah, long story short, I don't talk like that anymore. Long story short, it didn't work out. So, but yeah, it was cool.
Well, we talked about it at the meet, man. You got to lay the ground rules before you get them in the Uber. You gotta set your expectations before they jump into Uber.
I was a different person back then.
If they're not down for the expectations, you say, no, all right, forget it then.
I was a little bit naive back then, back in my early years.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage of you, bro.
I said, it's okay, but like I said, I have fun. I don't know why, because I never have luck catching stuff at meets. I don't know why. It's always either my birds, they're freaked out by the people, or they just barely miss. That's what happened at the past Jersey meet this year. I feel like she's caught game. She's seen the people, but that many people in the field, like she didn't really take any good thing from that. So like she chased a rabbit, but like I said, I never really have the best look at meets. I go there, meet people, have a good time, but when it comes to actually catching stuff, my birds either freaked out by the people or they barely miss a slip. So yeah, that's my maybe next year will be the break-in.
Toughest place to hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, meets are rough. Yeah, your bird's out of its element. You're driving for hours and hours in the car, depending on where you're going. There's a bunch of people around screaming and yelling. I mean, the first year I met you, you had your red tail. Your red tail did good.
No, she didn't.
She was with us. Like, she was doing all right.
She did. But I felt like she wasn't used to seeing all the dogs running around and people. Like she chased a squirrel because that's what happened when we first got that. She chased a squirrel, but it went down a hole. So she said, okay, well. But yeah, so I still go. I enjoy going to meets. I love going to meet. I love meeting I love meeting different people. I love seeing different birds, but I just really got to get the hook on actually like catching stuff at meets.
Yeah, you just got
caught stuff at mini meets, but I never caught anything at a state meet.
Yeah, you just got to. I just noticed that for myself, you got to drop the bird's weight like 10, 15 grams more than what you normally do, just to make sure that everything goes smoothly. Because if you're flying at your regular weight, it's going to be a problem.
One second, guys. Sorry.
No problem. Yeah, this guy shows up at the meet, bro. And he gets out. He's got these shorties with him. And I was like, dude, what's this guy up to right now? They were like carrying his bags and stuff. I said, dude, this guy's a pimp. What we doing here?
I feel like I've gotten better at hunting at meets. And I kind of got my mindset after going out to the NAFA meet and just... Actually, I did catch something at the NAFA meet, but I wasn't happy with my bird's behavior. So I I just kind of made up my mind that I was going to figure out exactly what I need to do to be successful at meets.
Yeah, it's all
because that shit sucks, man. You go all that ways, you pay the hotel room.
Yeah, like I said, I don't regret going. I love going to meets. I love meeting different people. Everybody recognizes me from TikTok and my Instagram, so it's like really, really rewarding seeing people at meets. And so, yeah, you're Wild Mo. That's you, right? You're Wild Mo. As I love your videos, man. So yeah, it's a very cool experience.
You're one of the few black falconers around, man.
Yeah, I am. I know a couple of us. We're out here. We're out here, but it's like we're few and far between. We're few and far between.
The friend of the show, Don West. At least that's
I met him.
That's his name on social media. You know him?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I met him a couple of times.
Do I know him? The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, he has dreads like me. He's a black guy. He was at the Jersey meet this past season.
Don West.
The Falconer
he was paying Seth Roy $10,000 for a chamber raised Siberian.
Really?
I don't think he was doing that. I don't think he was doing that.
No, Don West, Falconry bro. Falconry bro. Yeah. I love that guy. Yeah. He's like the nicest guy on the face of the earth. Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Yeah, Lee Foster's my boy. He called me the other day. I got to call him back. And then Daryl's the man. He came on the show.
Yeah.
Is it like? It's like a weird question to ask, but like, is it weird? Like, do you notice anything that you've experienced, like as a falconer and being like one of the few black falconers? Like, is that like, I mean,
it's definitely different. Like, I love all people. I don't see people by race or anything like that. Yeah. But it's definitely challenging because like most of the time they see a black guy with a hawk and say, "What's that? Is that a falcon? What are you doing?" So I'm training this hawk. I'm about to go catch a squirrel with this hawk. You want to watch? I'm very polite. I'm very friendly about it. I never really give people a hard time, but the only time I actually like really get really insecure with the old falconers. They've probably never seen a black guy with a falcon like the old timer falcons kind of unless they're like really 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 nice, like really really wholesome people person, then I get kind of more comfortable. But if I'm going like really secluded location, meeting people, go hunting or different field meets, I'm kind of a little apprehensive, and I never go to field meets by myself. Either my mom drops me off and she stays in the local area, I go like a shopping center or something like that, or I'm with my apprentice or some other guys I invited that they got their approval to come with. So it's definitely challenging, but I love falconry, so I don't let that stop me. I'm still trying my best to be the best falconer I can be.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean that's just for what I notice is like if you're putting 100% into it, people will just they just respect. Like there's no way you can't respect it. You know what I mean? Like they can have whatever opinion they want, but once they see that you're putting 100% effort in, like they really have nothing they can say. You know,
so like I said, I always try to my best to enforce that. I'm not just keeping the bird in the shed all day. I'm actually taking it out, trying to catch stuff and fly with it. If it flies away, then that's it. I can't do nothing about that. But I remember I was watching one video. This guy said, I think it was in Oklahoma or something like that. I was watching a little interview. He said, well, when I'm hunting with a bird, only two things good that can happen. I either catches something or comes back home. Everything else is bad. Anything else that's happening outside of that is bad. So I said, okay, I always get that mindset. But luckily, I've never really. The only really problem I've had birds take off on me. I found them months later, days later, but I always try my best to make sure the bird catches something. That's my main goal. I'm trying to find something for the bird to chase and catch. If I don't catch anything, if the bird chase and miss, I'm okay with that too. But I always try my best to go to the air with a lot of game for the bird to actually chase and pursue and in long run catch. So
it's good, man. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Sounds like you need to invest in some telemetry, bro.
I know. I'm trying to get that Marshall GPS, but I was BSing this season because I got an offer Carol Spiegel. I think she's like not Alabama. Where's she at? She's in Alabama. I think the president of the Alabama Falconry Association. She reached out to me on Facebook Messenger. I put a little message in the East Coast Falconers group chat on Facebook. I said, does anybody have any Marshall GPS telemetry don't mind selling for a fair price? I said, I'll give you the car antenna and the GPS mount for leg and tail mount for $1,200. I said, do I really want to? Plus my sponsor, he loaned me his radio field marshal receiver for the season. So I said, do I really need the GPS? So I'll just BS. I could have got it this past season, but I was on games. But I think the radio telemetry worked out well for me. The bird never got lost, so she always came back. So luckily I never had to track her down really, really extremely far. So
yeah, the telemetry is good to get. You know, it's obviously super expensive, and anyone who's trying to sell a used unit are always trying to sell it for like damn near the same price as a new unit. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. That's why I was saying. I said, do I really want to? Like, I don't want to risk it buying it. It ends up not working. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, when I bought my unit, it was like, I think it was like $1,400 for the turbo and the whole kit. And then like these guys there was a guy at the Jersey Meet last year trying to sell one for like $1,200, same thing. And I'm like, bro, I'll just buy a new one for that price. Like,
buy a new one and get the warranty on it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not, because Phil was asking me. He's like, oh, this guy's selling this for like $1,200. I'm like, $1,200. You spend $1,400, you get a new one. But I don't know how much it is now because I bought this thing like 6-7 years ago. So I don't know if it's like,
I'll get it eventually. I'm gonna get one of it. I don't know when, but I'm gonna get it eventually.
It makes your life a lot easier. It takes a lot of the pressure off of you to have it, but
takes the stress off. Yeah, man, I love it.
But I think using a traditional telemetry system will make you better.
Yeah,
make you better.
Yeah. It taught me a lot. So like the only time I actually had to track her down was when we were, I think it was like the first couple of weeks of October. We were hunting squirrels in one of my old woodlots, and she clashed with a hag red tail. It was kind of cool to see because the red tail was she was on top of somebody's roof and looking at me. I'm over here pulling vines trying to get squirrels to move for her, and the red tail was soaring, right? And she takes off from somebody's roof and grabs the red tail out the sky in midair. And she goes upside down, like scratches the red tail's bottom fluff off the body of the red tail. And she takes off through the woods. So where the hell you go? So I pull out the telemetry and say, okay, there you are, cool. So I feel really kind of learned how to use it on the fly because I never really had to use telemetry. I've only flown red tails and hair hawks. I didn't get exposed to telemetry until I really started flying this goshawk.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference having it. At least to have something. If you're flying a Harris Hawk or even a red tail and you don't have anything on it, like it could be okay. But the fact that it's so readily available, at least if you just get like just a small, cheap transmitter and then borrow somebody's receiver. Yeah. I did that for years. I flew Merlins with no receiver. I just sprung and, I was a little kid, and I worked to get the transmitter. It was like $140 for like a micro transmitter. And I just zip tied it on my Merlin every day. And then a couple times I had to call my mom to come pick me up so I could go drive to get the receiver from Phil's house. And he's at work and I'm going in his basement, getting the receiver, then driving back. And then 9 times out of 10, when I got back to the field where the bird took off from, she was back, the Merlin was back in the field, like in the tree, just waiting for me, So like if I just waited. So, but yeah, I mean, just something. So like if the bird takes off, at least you could say, all right, this is the transmission number. Anybody's got a receiver, just keep an eye out. You know what I mean? It's just, at least you get something.
That's what I was trying to do. That was my goal. At least have something on her. But luckily, when we were hunting, she never really took off far. Like I will say that most of her kills from the season came from off the glove.
That's cool.
Like she was like, I think on only double. Yeah, the only double we had was from the trees. Like the only double we had was from the trees. So that was the middle of January, I believe. So she goes chase a rabbit out of a brush pile, and she chased to another brush pile. So she was on a low branch right above the brush pile. So, and Ghost was still in the back looking for another rabbit. So I said, okay, let me just do this real quick. So I woke up I think I got that video on my Instagram page. So I woke up to this brush pile. I started shaking the crap out of it. The rabbit popped out. And she grabs it right out the tree at the base of another brush pile right before it goes to another brush pile.
Nice.
So that was cool. And I felt like I could have lowered away a little bit more, but I gave her like maybe this much of a piece of a quail wing. I threw it to the side. She let go. I really rather put it in my back game back pocket. And then we go to maybe a couple yards away to another part of the field. And we chase this one rabbit for like maybe 15, 20 minutes and keeps on going in and out of the brush piles. And Ghost chases it. It runs up the hill, straight up a hill. And she's on maybe like a 20-foot branch watching the whole thing play out. And she grabs it right before she grabbed it inside the brush pile. She grabbed it, man, like half his body was in the brush pile. And I walk up, I generally walk up the hill, try to get up there because the rabbit's squealing. I'm over here thinking, okay, it's going to get away if I don't get that fast. So she grabs it by the butt and she's on her back with her wings sprout like this, like a red tail that's got trapped, basically. And she's over here holding the rabbit up the air like this.
Nice.
And so the rabbit's fighting. I grabbed the rabbit's head. I dispatched the rabbit, and that was a double for the day from the trees. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But like I said, most of her kills came from up the glove, and 99% of her kills are all thanks to Ghost. I wasn't able to get through that stuff. Like if I had a red tail, I probably could have put some chaps on and like hit the bush and stuff like that. But if I have a gossip on the fist, I can't get through that stuff with a dog.
Yeah.
The stuff I found, the rabbit habitat, the rabbits picked a very, very good habitat because ain't no other predator getting in there without getting torn up by thorns. I've only seen maybe 2 red tails in the field I was hawking at, and none of them were actively trying to catch rabbits. The stuff's so thick, and we done a couple foxes at that stuff, but those rabbits, they knew what they were doing. Those smart laces and rabbits, they knew what they were doing, so they never ran far from a brush pile.
Yeah, especially in January.
Yep.
Wow, Mojang, I want to ask you about your rap career.
Okay. Yeah. Ask away. But
is Wild Mojang your rap name?
Yeah, that's my everything. My TikTok handle, Instagram handle. Yeah, but I've been rapping since I was ninth grade, and I gradually progressed, got a little bit better over the years. But I really enjoy. I feel like it's a good mental exercise for me because I used to have anxiety and I used to really be socially awkward. As I feel like rapping kind of brought the calmness and the more confidence out of me that I didn't have before I was doing that. But I just love the art and the actual practice of writing a song, recording it, and listening to how it sounds, going back and redoing it when it's not good. But yeah, I really enjoy the actual practice of rapping.
You kind of put like a little bit of like an outdoors hunting spin on it, don't you?
I tried. I've actually embraced that because I don't think I was going through a phase where I didn't know what type of rapper I wanted to be because I'm not a gang. I don't do any gang related activities. So I said, what can I rap about? That's actually me. So I put on like a couple metaphors where I actually like put the stuff I do in the out. That's why I put the name Wild Mojang. A lot of people ask me why am I wild. So I'll be in the woods. I'll be hunting. I'll be doing animal stuff.
Be rolling through the wilderness, bro. That's my favorite song.
Yeah.
What's that song?
I made it. Running with Wolves.
Yeah, Running with Wolves. That's actually a good song. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good song.
That was I really enjoyed that song too. We shot a video to that. Me and my friend, we shot a music video for that too. So
we got to redo the music video, and we got to get some real wolves. Like pay some people to come out. I'm dead serious, bro.
Okay, we can do that. I'm not opposing that.
We're gonna be your
some wolf dogs.
Yeah, make a remix. We'll put Aaron and Casey on a remix.
Yeah, well, me and Aaron are not Jewish, but we could start producing your music for you.
Like I said, I don't know,
bro. Look at me. Look at that.
Aaron could be Jewish. I see it.
He'll be thinking of Drake. He'll be thinking Aaron's Drake sometimes.
Yeah, no. Some of your songs are good, man. They're actually really good. I
appreciate it. Like, I feel like I got better over the years because I used to be like I was really looking to see what type of musician I want to be. Like trying best to keep it original and keep it things that actually hold true to myself and with a little bit of entertainment purposes here and there. But yeah, I really enjoyed the whole art of making music and recording and all that good stuff.
Yeah, how do you because some of your music, like, because I remember just FYI for the listeners, we're kind of leading into this, but we had Wild Mojang make a song for us.
Yeah, it's still waiting to be released.
We're releasing it right now. When this episode airs, this song's coming out. And then,
I have the permission to drop it. I have permission to release a song.
You have permission when the episode drops because we're gonna blast.
Okay, that's fair.
And then me and Aaron are gonna come down. We're gonna go to Baltimore. We're gonna hire a whole bunch of like thugs down there, and we're gonna make a huge. We're gonna block off the road. We're gonna rent out the whole block. We're gonna have guns. It's gonna be sick, bro. It's gonna be sick. We have it all planned out in our head. It's gonna be sick.
All right, I'll be there. I got a car now. I'll be there. Crack of dawn.
Aaron's scared, but I ain't scared. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's okay.
I ain't scared.
Yeah. Just don't look at nobody the wrong way. Yeah, don't look at nobody the wrong way.
Yeah, my younger brother, all of his every single one of his friends are black, and he did a lot of church work in like the inner city, like real dangerous areas. And his advice was always just act like you belong here.
Yeah, just don't act act
like you're supposed to be here. If you don't if you're acting like you're not supposed to be there and you're nervous, that's when you're going to become a target. You got to just act like you belong there. It's actually really good advice.
Yeah, that's what any neighborhood, any foreign or out of pocket neighborhood is. Be inconspicuous.
Correct.
Just be inconspicuous.
Yeah, when me and Aaron were in West Virginia hunting bears, it was a couple areas we rolled through that were a little sketchy, and I just like, I don't know, acted super.
Yeah, bro,
Aaron's used to that place.
I was born there. We show up and Casey's wearing like nice looking hunting clothes.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Everybody there was super cool, but Casey's, what were you wearing, dude? You're wearing like a vest.
I got a vest. I got like new pants because Kirk is like a big time YouTuber. So I'm like, we're gonna be on his channel. So I want to look presentable. But it's funny. It's funny because that area, like I've been to some sketchy places doing plumbing work where you'll get jumped. And like some of the areas down there, like you would not want to walk around down there like if you're not supposed to be there, like they'll beat you up. Like it's not safe.
Wow.
And they're all white, and it's like, and I'm white, and it's like they can smell that you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And even my truck, just my truck driving down the road, they're like looking like this, with like their eyes going 3 different directions, and they're one. No, I'm just kidding.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, but no, so we had Mo and his. Who's your friend, by the way? I don't know his name.
Oh, Jay Renzo, Jeremiah. That's my homeboy. We
Renzo.
My whole little clique is called Mo Squad and Wild Boys. That's our little clique name. We all been in high school, been friends for like 8 years now. It's a whole little group. So we always sit together. We do podcasts. We make music. They help me with my music. One of my friends, he's in film school, so he chooses my music videos for me. So yeah, we all have our little own individual niches in our group. So that's what we do.
But you got Jay Renzo on the track, as they say.
Yeah.
For this, for our video, for our song.
He's more of an MC, but he knows how to make music. He knows how to rap a little bit. But I'm the dominant rapper of my group. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's
Mo Squad.
Yeah, Mo Squad. Yeah,
Mo Squad. Yeah, and so we're dropping the song. If you're hearing this, the song is probably already dropping, or it's not, or if not, it's dropping Tuesday morning. We're dropping it, and then shortly thereafter, I can
schedule it.
Yeah,
schedule it Tuesday morning.
Did you shoot a music video for it yet?
No, I didn't do anything with it yet. I was waiting for you guys to send me the cover art and all that good stuff.
All right.
I didn't do anything with it yet.
So you have your friend ready to go, because Aaron. We're gonna try to get Aaron to drive up at some point, and then maybe we could shoot a music video all of us together. Yeah. It'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious and super fun.
Yeah, we can drop it first, and then we can do a music video. Yeah,
that's a good idea. We could drop it. And then we could shoot the music video at the Jersey meet with dogs. And birds.
I don't mind.
And we'll get some guns and stuff.
There's like 3 girls there.
3 girls that Mo brings in his Uber.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have an Uber anymore.
Yeah, I got a truck.
Yeah, a truck.
I want back my pickup truck.
Just fill the back of my pickup truck. Just fill the back of pickup truck with girls. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Instead of guns, we could like be brandishing like conibear traps or something.
That too.
Yeah,
it's even more
dangerous. Right on. It's way more dangerous. But you just throw it at somebody, it just takes their face off. No, that's great, man. But no, you're talented at what you do, and some of your songs are really good. I'm not a fan of all your songs, I'm not gonna lie, but some of them are.
It's okay. I get that a lot. I'm trying to branch out with my craft.
Yeah, man. You're starting. Yeah, if anything, like when you became a falconer, you weren't the best falconer ever. You're still learning.
No, I really wasn't.
So
I was a mess in the first couple of years.
So rapping, I would imagine. Listen, I'm not a rapper. I mean, I spit some bars back in the day. Maybe you used to have a little rap battles with my friends. I could spit some bars.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
I hear you.
But I would imagine you're just gonna keep getting better and better, and that's all it is.
Yeah. So I actually, like I said, it's all about self-confidence too. You really gotta look inside yourself and say, well, what do you want to do as a rapper? Do you want to sound like everybody else, or do you want to sound different? Do you want to? That's one main thing holds people back. They want to sound like everybody else. And they're scared to embrace what they really are, what they really know how to do, because they don't want to get judged. But I say I'm over here trying my best to be different, and somebody's gonna like it. Somebody's gonna like it. Somebody's gonna connect with it. Somebody's gonna see that I'm not trying to be like everybody else, because I'm not like everybody else. I don't want to be like everybody else.
Yeah,
so that's my whole little mindset nowadays. I'm older now. I'm not in high school no more, so I really try to connect with who I am as a person when I make my music now.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, because a lot of people, they just if you just do a good beat and mumble rap, you're gonna get views.
Yeah, I don't like mumble rapping. I'm not into that. I really want to try and be actually use metaphors and actual real lyrics before I.
Right, exactly.
I'm not trying to be mumble rapper at all.
Right. I mean, some of but that's like the popular thing. So if you did that, you'd be kind of selling out just to do what's popular.
Yeah,
kind of like falconers just getting a kestrel and car hawking to get attention.
I mean, nothing's wrong with that, and nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that at all. But I feel like originality goes further in the long run.
That's right.
Originality goes further in the long run.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, Mo, what's next for you?
Get this goshawk to molt out properly. Make sure she doesn't break any feathers before half the season's over. So yeah, she broke so many feathers. I was like, what the hell? Like I was using a tail guard, but I wasn't using one as often as I should. I always let her stay in the giant hood with no tail guard on. Like she would chip the tips of her tail feathers off, and by the end of the season, her tail looked like a V.
Yeah,
her tail looked like a V by the end of the season. So that was crazy. But like I said, I'm gonna get this guy so molted out, fly a red tail if I can get one in the timber my ridge trap. I have a car now, so I'm gonna take both the birds out. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the red tail out in the morning and gossip out in the afternoon, evening. So like she does better that way anyway. Like she would at the Pennsylvania meet, we flushed a rat right in front of her. Like she chased it, but she went back in a tree and stood on one foot and almost like she went to sleep. But then when 1 o'clock hit, she turned back on like a switch. I was like, what the hell? I never really experienced that in any other bird except the gossip. I said, wow, it's really interesting. It really fascinated me that she did not like hunting in the mornings at all. So
Yeah.
Unless it's just with me. If I'm in the field with like 2 or 3 other people, like she wouldn't participate at all. But if it's just with me and our circumstances is right, she'll go in the morning sometimes. But the best thing is after 1 o'clock. That's when she turns on and really gets more engaged in what we're doing. But
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like I said, I never really experienced any other bird except goshawks. I was really amazed by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna fly a red tail this season and get the goshawk. I really wanna put her on feathered core. That's my main goal this season. Get her some ducks. And I know people was a little controversial about catching Canada geese, but I just want one. There's one Canada goose in my goal. I don't want to make anybody upset, but I really want to catch a Canada goose.
The problem is
we have there's so many of them here.
Yeah, and so a lot of people have them. The problem is, and I don't have any problem with it. And I got the same messages you got years ago when I caught 1 or 2. The problem is if you catch one and the bird gets a nice reward, then every time she sees them, she tries to catch them. And if you can't get there to help her in time, she could
get jacked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's telling me that.
And they're not lying either. Cause I thought they were like, I'm like, all right, relax. You know what I mean? You're 50,000 years old telling me that, like I can run, I can get there. Well, you got a river in your way, you got a highway in your way, and she sees them in a golf course across town and she flies all the way over there to kill one. Those geese will team up on your bird. It's definitely dangerous, but it is fun. Yeah. It's definitely fun, but it's a little dangerous. But yeah, your bird will do it. I mean, she's half Siberian. The Siberians love them. So
yeah, but like I said, I'm definitely gonna give her baggies because I never entered her on feather game at all. She would chase ducks, but she wouldn't chase them like she wanted to actually like kill them very, very eagerly. She'll like chase them and then pull off or chase them, and she's just like kind of sloppy chasing them. But like I said, right around the end of September, I'm going to give her some baggy pigeons in my yard, baggy pheasants, and I'm going to get order some from Amazon, some realistic Canada goose decoys, and put like a tidbit on their head, just so she'll get the okay, this food, or just to go out to the field, shoot a Canada goose from a compound bow, and let her crop up on the Canada goose carcass. But
allegedly,
I just want to catch one. I just want to catch one for the season. The one Canada goose, and I'll be satisfied. Never again.
You could do it.
But yeah, like I said, the main goal is feather quarry ducks and squirrels. Like she's only caught one squirrel, but like she will try. But like she's only caught on the ground. She's not really proficient at catching them out of trees yet. Like she'll go around the tree and try to catch them, but she's grabbed one out of a tree. But like actually, the second squirrel she actually grabbed, she grabbed out the tree. But on the way down, she got tangled up in small little twig vines on the tree. And I think the squirrel bit her, like superficially bit her on a pinky or something like that. And she dropped it and she tried laying back on it, but she grabbed his tail and it got away. It was right by my foot. I tried to step on it, but right before I stepped on it, ran into a hole and she was mad. But like I said, I just want to try feather quarry and more squirrels for the goshawk. That's my main goal this season. More squirrels and feather quarry.
It's awesome. Good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great, man.
All right, man. Wow, Mo Dieng, thanks for coming on, bro.
No problem.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the song.
No problem. I'm scheduled to drop on Tuesday morning. I got y'all.
You got it.
Yeah, I take it easy. Appreciate y'all. You're the best.
You got it, man. You're the best. Thanks for coming on.